Hello everyone, my name is Katasha and welcome to a game that I played with my mum a little while ago and that she played years before that, Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. Broken Sword is a like a puzzle mystery game, really cool storyline, and I thought I'd share it with you guys and hopefully you enjoy. And I love it too.
Paris, city of love, romance and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too, but ever since that day, the day of the murder, I have always associated my beloved Paris with death.
The art style makes me feel like I'm watching an old cartoon. It's really cool.
I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away. Here I was, the palace of the Media King
Agreed.
and the Ice Queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation. Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty. You're too kind, madame.
Ah, the talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre, please. But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father, he never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose. Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
You journalists are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame. That was no cat. My God, what? Monsieur Carchon!
I'm sorry, Nico, but... What? How? The mime!
He's dead.
I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No wonder they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Coulard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation?
We already know the answer.
It was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Okay. I've got to remember how to... This is basically a point-and-click thing. So there'll be plenty of puzzles and stuff like that. And yes, move the mouse around the screen to discover areas of interest. When the pointer passes over an object, you can interact with it. It will change into an animating icon reflecting the available action. Left click the mouse button to perform that action. Briefcase, diary, question mark. Let's see if we can try and get this through this without help.
Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across this murderer before and written about him. The costume killer, at least that's what I'd called him.
I'll have to say one thing. Journalists...
It was one of my hair clips. My favourite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down.
Journalists have a thing with always
I closed his eyes. It was the least I could do for the poor fellow.
Naming the murderers. I've been binging a lot of like Criminal Minds and some Castle in between there, so...
Some people hate searching corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay with it. Reminds me of an old boyfriend.
Oof.
In his pocket, I found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now.
No, there was
Carchon had been shot.
Really? Anything?
I opened his eyes. Best to leave the crime scene as I found it.
Well... Okay. Oh, there we go. Let's go here.
A small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job.
Okay, I've got to ask one thing. That is more than an arm's distance. How?
I didn't want to cut myself and leave blood on the glass. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to keep my DNA to myself.
I mean, fair.
The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
Popped it in his pocket. I don't quite think that's what you do with a ladder.
A bust of Pierre Carchon, humble servant of La France.
Okay, there's that one. I'll go to the bookcase in a sec, don't worry. So quiet.
Pierre Carchon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room.
I love her accent.
The bookcase was filled with obscure first editions.
Obscure first editions. I think that is everything in here. Let's head out.
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them.
And we're just gonna go from right to left.
The door was locked.
Clicking what we can click, and make sure not to go back in rooms that we've already been in unless we absolutely need
A
to.
Louis XIV table with an antique cloth. Imelda had taste. But hey, with a husband that rich, taste is easy.
You're not wrong, Nico.
I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful.
Pretty
Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole.
Why is there a hole in that? Okay, she's on the phone to the police.
Imelda had talent, but I certainly wasn't going to tell her that. It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine. Just the colour I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
I don't think there's enough.
Young lady, what are you doing? Oh, this paint. It's my favourite colour.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
Use inventory, click on background object. Click and drag. Oh! Should we talk to her first? Let's talk to her first.
Excuse me, madame.
Yes?
I'm so sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no idea. His business was his business.
He never told you anything?
No, and frankly, I preferred it that way.
How did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Thierry Collard?
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
I hate mimes as much as I hate clowns. I think I hate clowns more.
Why would a mime want to kill your husband?
Pierre had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in Paris for a start. This is quite a scoop for you. I suppose you're already inventing the headlines.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronise me. You're all cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
Yes, that's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if. My editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family. Pierre and I were... He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing, madame.
What?
If you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
Always
your
be
husband
good.
invited me here today because he needed me. I think he knew somebody wanted to kill him, and he knew I could help.
I doubt it was your database he was after.
You're wrong. I was onto his killers already, I am sure of it. Please, you owe it to him.
I don't know.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people. And perhaps Pierre really did think that you could help. Of course it wouldn't have stopped him seducing you too. Here, take this. It's the key to the drawing room next to the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's room. I rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Ice Queen.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret this.
I thought she was about to say, I do already. Okay, I want to look at this again. I want to see if I can use Nico's hair clip.
A magnificent and...
I clicked the wrong one.
Aha! Nico, you are just so damn good at this stuff.
And I see her.
Instead of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was something going on here, and I had to get answers before the cops arrived. And hey, she'd been rude to me, so she had it coming.
Go Nico. Okay, so what did I grab?
A key. Maybe a safe key.
Okay, go over here. And I think I've actually got to click and drag on this. And we're through the door.
Now we were getting somewhere.
Et voila, well, you're in here.
I didn't need the lights on. It was light enough already.
And now we go from left to right. I had to think of my directions. That is a little
The painting showed the Cachons together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country. Or did I read that in a fortune cookie?
Probably a fortune
There was
cookie.
the very faintest of clicks.
Look, if I see something to click, I'll click. Ah, something itchy.
This wasn't the time for me to lie on the sofa doing my Marie Antoinette impression. Though it is very popular at parties, especially with gay guys. Don't ask me why.
Can someone explain that one to me, actually? I'm a little confused. I'll have to... I don't think I want to.
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision.
Elephant.
My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant. But not just any carved elephant. It had been made by my father. I knew for certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin, carved into a box he had made. So Cauchon had known my father. They really must have been friends. I decided to take the carved elephant. It clearly meant nothing to Melda.
Yeah, I should fucking notice, to be honest.
I didn't need a sheet of blotting paper. Not while it was blank.
Okay, that was a hint if I
I
ever
didn't
heard
want
one.
to take the tray, but I knew that I could use it.
Okay, well, we have paint, so I will keep the paint on me because I have a very sneaky feeling we'll put it in there.
The cloth was embroidered with an unusual symbol.
Okay. There's a door here.
Locked. Not surprising, really. It didn't work, but I guess it would have been surprising if it had.
You never know. Oh, really? Okay. So something won't click. I'm going to assume it was in the murder room. And we'll go see what that is. Click.
Behind the picture was a safe.
Yeah. Yeah, you know. It's a little bit more simpler than my brain.
In the safe was some kind of artifact. There were strange symbols on its surface. It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned about symbols, they are always important. But these symbols scratched into stone were impossible to read. I needed to find a way of printing them. At least the stone was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print on? Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Cauchon was past caring.
Death joke. I love death jokes. Oh, okay. I'll rephrase that. I like dark jokes, but when they get to, I guess, personal or stuff like that, then I'll start saying something. That is blue.
I'd spread blue paint over the bottom of the tray. It was ruined. I was a very bad girl, but
Oh, no.
also quite a clever one.
How dare.
I rolled the artifact in the paint until it was completely coated.
Now, do I just roll it onto here? I guess so.
Genius! The roller and the paint worked just as I planned. But what did it say?
Where's my... You know, I knew what this game is, and yet I don't have my notepad. Because there's no way that that is a coincidence. The hell's my notepad? No, Nico doesn't have it. Nico from One Shot, I might add. Nope. Be right back while I find my notepad. I have my notepad, and apparently I'm going to be writing with a tiny little red pen. Okay, so we've got this far. Broken sword. I'm just gonna write broken sword. So SD SSD SS. There's no way that is not for something. That was just too weird. But take it anyway.
It was some kind of coded message. It read, subjudice. I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense. I suddenly realized there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket was stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. The conciergerie on the Ile de la Cité, by the river, housed the ancient law courts. So, subjudice could in this case mean literally under the law courts, below the conciergerie. I was pretty sure I'd found all I could here. And besides, all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just remember the name of that fancy prize you get for being an ace journalist, I was definitely going to win it this time.
Okay. So now we've got to go to the Ile de la Cité. I don't think that's how she pronounced it. Pardon me. I had coffee. I think we do come back here. I mean, there's a whole room we have to explore still, so probably going to talk to her. If she wants to talk.
Did you find anything useful?
This carving, do you know anything about it?
It was Pierre's. What does the statue have to do with...
Please, I need to know.
He was given it by a friend. Something to do with Africa.
He never explained any more.
No. But I think it was important to him. Always on display. Why?
It was carved by my father.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
Imelda, I will do everything I can to find the killer.
Thank you, my dear.
And if the police ask...
Don't worry. You were never here.
Subjudice was the key. I was going to have to find a way under the conciergerie. I decided to head straight for the quayside on the Ile de la Cité. If there was a way of getting under the conciergerie, it would have to be from there.
1 hour later.
Canchon wasn't the type for messing about on the river. He was up to something down here. Something that got him killed.
Sticky beak.
The fence wouldn't move. This fence wouldn't move either.
Hello. I spy something unique.
The cross looked familiar. I'd seen it before. It was embroidered on the lace cloth I'd picked up at Canchon's apartment. I knew I was on the right track.
At least we got the little sound
I
effect.
tried pushing the fence, but it wouldn't move.
Okay, to be fair,
A
it looked like...
strange pair of locks stopped the latches from releasing the gate.
Oh, it's one of these games. Hang on. Hang on. one has to actually remember on how to play this.
Whoops. One down.
Haha!
More to go.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that one. Okay, never mind. We do have to move it.
Nothing like a good convent
I think
education for
I
honing your
ov-
lockpicking skills.
I think I overcomplicated that. I very much think I overcomplicated that. And it falls down. In we go.
For a room full of junk, that was one very sophisticated lock system. This place was definitely fishy. In more ways than one.
Have a sticky beak around. Why, Nico?
Oops.
Uh,
An old shell case. I wondered what that was doing there.
Okay.
No handle. Nothing obvious. But there had to be a way to open it. The words Sinister and Dexter were carved on either side. Now any good convent girl like me knows the old Roman for left, right. But what did it mean here? Nothing happened.
Okay, I shoved the thing in. That sounded better in my head, by the way. I shoved the
Mystery
thing in.
solved. Carchon's stone cylinder slotted into the hole with a satisfying click.
Okay, S.
A satisfying click told me I turned it to the right position. It felt like tumblers in a safe.
I knew this was going to be important. D.
Another click. Another step closer.
S. S. D. S. S.
I
Oh.
love the sound of locks clicking open.
Do we go in? Or do we go above ground? Or we leave it here. So thank you all so much for watching. We're gonna stop this for now, but yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'm hoping you're enjoying this as much as I am. I love puzzle games and stuff like that, and I really want to share this with you. So I really do hope you're all enjoying this. Tell me what you think about it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I shall see you guys next video or stream. Bye!